Nkwanta to have the floor and pose the question numbered 470. Honorable Minister, you are welcome. Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I come under the remit of Order 883 and seek your indulgence to ask the question standing in the name of Honorable Chinebua Kodua.
Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment what proactive measures the ministry is taking on labour upheavals that has become rife lately in the country.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, labour concerns we are confronting today have been a carryover of issues that had not been fully addressed in the past and which we are committed to tackle right away. But measures being taken include monitoring early warning signals, improving surveillance activities, deepening social dialogue with labor unions, and facilitating the implementation of the memoranda of understanding as agreements between government and labor unions. Thank you.
Honorable Member, any supplementary question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, by early warning signal, I want to find out whether you have detected the CTAG strike and what have you done about it?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Yes, we detected it earlier and were wishing that they would come forward for fuller negotiation until a point when they thought they should go, when they would believe a strike action was going to be the solution to the problem. But in the course of the dialogue, they slip into the strike. And so we are still working on it. It is something we are so concerned about, and we are committed in solving the problems that are posed by them, or that they pose as a challenge to them.
Yes, any further question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. By way of follow-up, I want to find out from the Minister whether he has any indication, especially having engaged CTAG, whether he has any indication when CTAG strike will come to an end.
Yes, Minister, do you have any indication?
Mr. Speaker, 2 days ago, I invited a Labour Commission to my office. We had a long discussion. She told me the efforts she has made and the commitment by leadership of SIGA to go along with them. But I also heard the Minister for Education promising to fulfill the requirements, the demands made by SIDA.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, my last question, follow-up question on that. Minister, one of the things CTAG is asking for is the salary arrears. Salary arrears. Are you aware of that? And how much is involved in this particular issue? How much money is involved to clear the salary arrears?
Honorable members, to know the actual amount involved in salary arrears, you may have to file a fresh question so that the minister can prepare to give you the exact amount involved. Let's avoid an element of surprises. That brings you to an end of your follow-up question. In the absence of any follow-up, we move to question number 503. Also standing in the name of Honorable Chinebua Kodua Foko, Member of Parliament for Manso Nkwanta.
Mr. Speaker, with respect,
please ask.
If I may.
Ask.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment what the ministry is using to track employment growth and if these targets are being met.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the ministry is collaborating with the Ghana Statistical Service to develop a mechanism for tracking employment growth and targets in the country. This mechanism is expected to regularize the production and quarterly employment and unemployment data to better track labor market trends, job creation, and youth unemployment rates. Additionally, government is in the process of establishing a National Employment Coordination Commission that will be responsible for certain national and sectoral employment targets for the productive sectors to track employment growth and undertake employment impact assessment of Ghana's investment. Thank you.
Any supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Minister, from your answer, it seems to suggest that there is a National Employment Coordination Committee being established. Is it to say that the Ghana Statistical Service is unable to give us accurate information, for which reason you are setting up this National Employment Coordination Commission?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Statistical Service has an overall functional duty of working with the statistics across board. But employment issues are very specific issues, dealing with job creation and absorption of unemployed in Ghana. So this is a huge area and cannot be a subset to the bigger issue done by Statistical Service. So we want to focus directly on employment and give it a leverage so that at any point in time you can ask and you'll be given. But it doesn't mean that Statistical Service will not be working on employment, but it will not be that detailed as when a commission is set up for that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Minister, so in setting up this commission, you say you are in the process of setting up the commission. So are you able to give this House, the people of Ghana, update? What is the status of the setting up of the commission? And if you can give timelines, what are the timelines for the completion of this setup?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Right now, we are on the drawing board on it. It's a policy area. The policy is taking shape. It's going to result in a legal regime that will set it up. And I won't be able to state specifically when the timelines are, what the timelines are.
Yes, Honorable Boma.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take notice of the Minister's response with regards to the Ministry's collaboration with the Ghana Statistical Service to develop a mechanism for tracking employment growth and targets. Mr. Speaker, I want the Minister to give us some understanding as to the nature of the collaboration, because when it comes to data on employment growth and tracking, it is very key.
Your question is asked. Tell the House the nature of the collaboration.
And then second,
you are to ask one question at a time. Look at the rules.
Yes, Mr. Speaker,
yes.
If you can proceed.
Please, Minister, what's the nature of the collaboration?
Under the EI by the President, executive instrument by the President, Statistical Service is working directly under my supervision. So the collaboration is a necessary system of working together to achieve that objective. I'm actually asking them to do it from my position as the minister in charge.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think I got clearly the nature of collaboration as a response from the minister.
Well, it is not the answer you want. It is the answer that the minister wants to give.
Okay. So in line with that, I'm also trying to seek from the minister the mechanism that is supposed to be developed. The mechanism that is supposed to be developed. Can you give this House an idea as to when that mechanism will be developed so that we, as a parliament, can also track?
Well, the minister in his answer indicated that he wouldn't be able to speak regarding timelines and that the legislative regimes would come to the floor. So your question...
No, Mr. Speaker, that was in relation to the commission. Mr. Speaker, please, that was in relation to the establishment of a coordinating commission. That was what he couldn't determine the timeline for its establishment. But this question is relation to, he said already, the ministry, since the statistical service works under his ministry now, they are on constant collaboration. But he's talking about development of mechanisms to track the employment growth. And that is what I'm asking the minister. Since he is leading, or the ministry is leading the collaboration, if he could assist us as a house when that mechanism would be developed, so that this house can also follow through with him in due course to track it.
Minister, will you be able to give the timeline?
Mr. Speaker, he's asking a question. I'm a policy maker as a minister. I'm not an implementer of policy. Statistical Service is going to implement that policy. So if you want the details on how they are doing it, you may like to pose a question. I'll get them to come and then we can give you the details.
Yes, Honorable Afriye, are you on your feet to ask questions? Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask the Minister, proud to the collaboration with the Statistical Service, was the ministry having any project in place?
Proud to collaboration, whether they have a project?
Yes. Proud to the collaboration with the Statistical Service. Was your ministry having any project that had already begun?
Yes, Minister. I don't get it, but you may have the floor.
Yeah, if you know, I was saying that the other project in place is the fact that we are asking them to help develop the National Commission on Employment. So it's part of the efforts we are working at. But as in projects, like we are asking them to do something visible for anyone to see, I don't think we have that. Thank you.
Members, we then move to question number 504. Yes. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Honourable Minister, I see that your earlier response in reference to 503 was about employment growth and what the government has done over the period. I'm just wondering if, as part of employment growth, we considered those employees whose appointments were revoked on the 17th of February, exactly a year today, and what we are doing about those who have not been recalled. Because there were some who were beyond the date that was given in the Chief of Staff's directive. Some were employed way before 7th of December, but their employment was also terminated. They were terminated. As you talked about employment
Honorable Available Leader, once your question is specific, file it. The Minister will prepare to come and answer.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, move to question number 504. Also standing in the name of Honorable Chinibo Akodua Foko, Member of Parliament for Manso, Nkwanta, and by extension, you have the leave to ask the question.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Minister, I rise to ask you what is being done to improve occupational health and safety standards, especially in high-risk industries like construction and mining.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry, through the Department of Factories Inspectorate, takes regular inspection of all workplaces, including the high-risk industries like construction and mining, to promote occupational safety and health standards. In addition, a special OSH task force has been inaugurated to augment the work of the Department of Factories Inspectorates. Since this inauguration, the workforce has improved compliance and enforcement of occupational safety and health standards in all sectors. The Ministry reiterates its commitment to enforcing occupational safety and health standards in high-risk industries, including construction and mining, to avoid occupational accidents and injuries. Thank you.
Honourable Member, any supplementary question?
Yeah, Minister. Wouldn't you rather retool the Department of Factories and Inspectorate to rather undertake this job rather than setting up a task force, which is a temporary project? Wouldn't you do that just to save the people of Ghana? Thank you.
Honourable Member, I consider that to be a suggestion rather than a question.
Let me rephrase this, Mr. Speaker, then. Yes, Minister, do you think that retooling and supporting the Department of Factories and Inspectorate, don't you think that retooling and supporting the Department of Factories and Inspectorate is far better than setting up a task force to do this job?
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think so. I agree with you. If we were capable of retooling, equipping them, giving them the needed vents, power, and capacity, it will be better for us to set up a task force. But in the absence of that, and in the absence of the level of commitment and work we want them to do, the alternative is to get a task force to do what they should be doing. Remember, this is just a small office. But a small office should provide people to go around the whole country, inspect all the factories, inspect all the offices, and make sure they do the right thing. And that office is not up to, I don't think it's up to 50 individuals who is in that office. It's a very small office. So in order to reach the scale that we want, the best alternative is to do a task force to get the work done.
Any further supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Minister, since you agree with me that it is better to retool than to set up a task force, are you able to tell the people of Ghana what is preventing you from retooling rather than setting up a task force? Because you're going to spend money on the task force anyways.
Honourable Member, Honourable Minister, you're on the floor.
I want to remind Honourable that this is a civil service organization. It requires increased number of workers in that. It requires increased construction of physical equipment. It involves provision of vehicles. I mean, it's such a huge investment. And I believe that over the years, it's not been done because by governments all over, because the investment is huge. But this is not what we are going to tackle. In order to do what others haven't done, we want to set up a task force, get them to get the necessary capacity, financial capacity, and we do the necessary thing that should be done.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, Minister, Is the task force now, you said you've inaugurated it, so they are in place, isn't it? Is the task force now doing the work of the of Inspectorate Division, that Inspectorate Department? Is the task force now the one doing the job?
Yes, Minister.
The task force is supplementary. It simply means that we want to help the Inspectorate Division to reach its objective. So it has not taken over the leadership of the Inspectorate. It's simply adding on the needed force to what they have. You don't have the leader of the task force being the one signing agreement, who letters are addressed to and all that. The Inspectorate Division is still having its leadership in place, appointed by the head of civil service. They still run, take instructions. So the task force takes instructions from them and then work to supplement what they have not been able to do. Thank you.
Yes. Please, you have exhausted your supplementary question.
Yeah, just to thank the minister for answering the question.
Very well, Minister, thank you.
Yeah.
You have the floor. Honourable Member for Song.
Thank you. One of the bane of the factories and inspectorate office is inadequate human capital. I want you to tell us what specifically you have done to ensure that they are resourced.
Please, you can file a specific question on how they are being resourced.
No, Mr. Speaker, because he has answered a question on that. So this is a follow-up.
He just said it's a supplementary.
Yes, please.
So if you want to know how they are being resourced in terms of resources, file a fresh question.
No, I'm
Honourable Member, file a fresh question. If you don't have any other supplementary, please.
Thank you.
Resume your seat. Yes. Leadership. Yes, honourable members. On your behalf, I want to thank the minister responsible for labor, job, and employment for attending upon the House to respond to the questions scheduled for him for today. Honourable Minister, thank you very much. You are accordingly discharged. Honourable members, that brings us to the end of question time. Yes, Majority Leader, any indication?
Speaker, we intend to take the report on the two formulas. So my prayer is that we go back to item number 7. We take a couple of the statements so that when we have the reports ready, we can come back and take them.
Yes.
Rox. Speaker, I was hoping you would engage, but he didn't. I don't know if he's behind the arrest of Baba Jamal, but if he's not, we are minded to proceed.
Speaker, Baba Jamal has not been arrested. So why would my brother bring this matter to the floor? There's no indication. My brother is not under arrest. He's a free man. He's campaigning hard.
Honourable members, the application is to take the item numbered 7. This completely has nothing to do with arrest. So the only thing is, are you acceding to the application or you are not
Speaker,
acceding
we are
to
not
application?
opposed to the application.
Arrest is an extraneous matter.
Speaker, we are not opposed.
Very well. We then move to item numbered 7, statement. The first statement is standing in the name of Honorable Dr. Abednego Lamanjin Bandim, Honorable Member for Bunkorogo, to make a statement on the security situation unreported disappearance in Nakpanduri. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this House, I rise to bring to the urgent attention of this House a persistent security challenge that threatens the stability of the Bumprugu enclave in the Northeast region. Mr. Speaker, I refer to the recurrent pattern of unexplained disappearance within the Mwok territory, a situation that requires immediate state intervention. Mr. Speaker, on Sunday, 25th January 2026, community stakeholders and the National Association of Bimoba, Moba, and Gruma reported the disappearance of yet another citizen in Nakpanduri. This recent incident is not an isolated event, but part of a documented trajectory. Records indicate that about 7 people have been missing since 2001 to 2026. Mr. Speaker, the absence of conclusive investigations into these cases has created a climate of uncertainty for the families involved. The lack of closure is a source of profound distress to the people of Nakpanduri. For the broader community, it fuels suspicion and strains social cohesion necessary for peace and development. Mr. Speaker, the latest disappearance must be viewed within the context of recent deterioration of security environment in the Northeast region. We note with concern that just 10 days prior to mid-January 2026, police barriers in the Nalergu and Dambaga areas were set ablaze by unknown persons. Such attacks on security infrastructure suggest a growing boldness among criminals element that compromises the safety of constituents. Furthermore, the topography of Nakpanduri, especially the SCAP, presents unique security challenges. Intelligence assessment have long indicated that the difficult terrain can be exploited by transnational criminal networks and extremist elements seeking sanctuary. It is imperative that our security architecture adopt to effectively police the geography. Mr. Speaker, Article 13 of the 1992 Constitution guarantees the protection of life and personal liberties. The unresolved nature of these disappearances suggests a gap in our enforcement of these guarantees. Routine procedures have proven insufficient. A more rigorous intelligence-led approach is required. In light of this, I make the following specific demands. Mr. Speaker, to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, I call upon the Commission to exercise its mandate under the Act 456 to conduct a preliminary investigations into these 7 cases. We require an independent assessment to determine if there has been a systemic failure in the state's duty to protect its citizens. And to the police administration, whilst we acknowledge the logistical constraints facing the service, the current situation demands specialized attention. I urge the Inspector General of Police to deploy a dedicated team, potentially the cold case unit, to the Northeast region to review the dockets of these missing persons. The families deserve definitive answers. And to the National Commission on Civic Education, NCC, leveraging the NOPRESIC project, I charge the Commission to intensify security awareness campaign in the Bumpurugu and Kwanduri district. It is vital that our citizens are empowered to report suspicious activities timely and without fear. Mr. Speaker, I appeal to our traditional authorities and the leadership of NACMAC, that is the Association of Brimobers, to support these states' efforts. As custodians of the land, your collaboration is essential in identifying and rooting out the internal actors who may be facilitating these crimes. The people of Nakwanduri and the Northeast region looks to the House and the states for assurance. We cannot allow a part of this country to become a zone of silence where citizens vanish without explanations. I urge this House to support the call for a thorough investigation and a robust security response to these matters. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to make this statement. Thank you.
Honourable members, that's the statement on the security situation. At Nankpanduri, the floor is now open for comment on the statement. Yes, Honourable Peter Tobu-Lanchini, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity to have a bite on a very important statement ably delivered by my good friend, Honourable MP for Bumpurugu, Dr. Abednego Bandem. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about security situation in that part of the country, it is instructive to note that this statement could not have come at the right time better than this. Mr. Speaker, anyone, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your sex, your educational background, or social standing, may become a missing person. And I'm saying this, including even MPs. There are several reasons why people can get missing. And among them, Mr. Speaker, people voluntarily run away from their homes. It is very important for you to find a lady who has been overly tortured as a result of domestic violence, and they can leave home and never return. These days, it's even becoming very common that men are even tortured by their wives, and some of them voluntarily leave home and will never get back. Mr. Speaker, some people get missing because they are abducted, and that is a crime. Some get missing because they are kidnapped. That is a crime. Some get missing because they've been trafficked, and that is a crime. In fact, an organized crime, of course. Mr. Speaker, some people get missing as a result of health-related challenges, very particularly dementia. Your brain is no longer as effective as it used to be. You can walk out of your house and will never be able to make your way back, and you'll be deemed to have been missing. Honorable Speaker, armed conflict, and the maker of the statement got it right. In paragraph 4 of the statement, and if I'm permitted to read, he said, and I quote, "The latest disappearance must be viewed within the context of the recent deterioration of the security environment in the Northeast region. We note with concern that in mid-January 2026, police barriers in the Nalerigu and Gambaga areas were set ablaze by unknown persons." Of course, when you find an environment that is poisoned like this with insecurity, it is not strange for you to find people getting missing. But he stated clearly that between the period of 2001 to 2026, that is a period of 25 years, quarter of a century, about 7 people have disappeared, and it appears to be a defined trajectory, and that has called the attention of the community, and because he represents them, he's drawing the attention of this House to do something about the situation. Mr. Speaker, there are people with suicidal thoughts who sometimes get missing, and if you are lucky, you find them dead somewhere. If you are not lucky, you will never find them again. Missing persons, the investigation of missing persons is a very complicated matter. And that is why in the year 2002, the Ghana Police Service found that it was an area of interest. So they established the Missing Persons Unit with people who are trained in that particular field to have the specialty to investigate that matter. Mr. Speaker, the maker of the statement requested the police to engage the Cold Cases Unit to assist in delving into this matter. And as much as I support that idea, I will further recommend that probably the Cold Cases Unit can be joined with the Missing Persons Unit for them to do a good job. Honorable Speaker, some recommendations by the maker of the statement include that the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice should do something about this particular matter. Ghana Police should get seriously involved. National Commission for Civic Education should get involved. But I need to add that the Ghana Immigration Service, as it stands today, with our porous borders, should be brought into the picture. Intelligence agencies like the National Intelligence Bureau should be brought into the picture. And very importantly, the National Signals Bureau should be brought into this picture to help in the investigation for missing persons. Mr. Speaker, as I support my dear brother from Bukurugu, I will say I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute to this statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Yes, Honourable Dr. Kabiru, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise in solidarity with my brother, the Honourable MP for Bukurugu Yinyu, as Bukurugu constituency, as he shed light on the matters that are affecting people in the Bukurugu constituency. Mr. Speaker, Bukurugu constituency is part of the Northeast region where I come from. And it's only well and good that matters that affect them are issues of national importance. And I'll commend the Speaker and the leadership of the House for admitting to the statement or admitting to the Honourable Member taking the statement to highlight the issues that the people are facing. Mr. Speaker, these occurrences are way too many to be, if you like, to be mere coincidence. We have somehow a consistent pattern where people are missing. Mr. Speaker, human being is too, if you like, is too visible to be missing. In other words, human being is said that is not just any animal that will get into wilderness and you not know where the person has gone into. So when we have occurrence of such matters within and amongst our people, within the vicinity, it calls for concern. Mr. Speaker, I also think that part of this occurrence is due to the fact that security and surveillance system within that particular enclave is so bad, is so poor, in a sense that even police presence within the Bukurugu, not just the Bukurugu constituency, but several other constituencies in the region, is so bad that when these matters happen, even real-time reporting for the security services to take action is not there. So as much as I support the call for the National Commission for Civic Education and also call on the Ghana Police Service to, whilst acknowledging the logistical constraint, to do something about this issue, I also want to urge the Minister responsible for Interior to, as a matter of fact, intensify community police engagement. Because you see, most of these people you will find, or some of these people you will find out that before they get missing, they will have had some social issues. I remember cases of being reported in my constituency in the past of a missing person. Mr. Speaker, that person had some mental challenges. And the person actually went out and then could not be traced again. Similar things could happen to other people, whereas other cases are actually genuine cases of kidnapping. It has happened in my constituency before, where a young lady
was declared missing. Meanwhile, she has been kidnapped to Kumasi, and the family did not know where we could locate her. But thanks to the diligence of the police service in the Walewale constituency and the West Mampuse district, we were able to locate that. And these occurrences are across the country, Mr. Speaker. Today, we are only talking about Bunkurugu. I'm sure in several other constituencies, we have reported cases. It's not a suggestion of wider insecurity in the country, Mr. Speaker, but there are isolated cases that I think we have to advert our minds to address it. So, Mr. Speaker, I will join my colleague to call on the minister responsible for Interior, especially the agency, the Ghana Police Service, or the service under him, to treat these cases and to resurrect the court cases unit, Mr. Speaker. We little is heard about that. In other jurisdictions, you have cases that have been, called for the past 20 years, especially in the USA, but diligent investigation will lead to unraveling the circumstances surrounding those particular cases. Mr. Speaker, I think that if there's a need for parliamentary support for that particular unit so that we can bring finality. We know the law is common that for a person to be declared dead, the person should have been missing for 7 years, and there will be diligent search. Without diligent search, Mr. Speaker, you cannot declare the person dead. So it means that of all the cases we have had in the past of missing cases, until such time we intensify search for these people and we are not able to get them, we can't declare them as dead, even though 7 or more years would have passed. So, Mr. Speaker, I will want to join my colleague, and I want to thank you once again for the opportunity and to say that we have to do something to solving the misery of our people. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you to honourable member. Yes, you have the floor. No, Jerry, I'm giving the floor to.
Thank you so much.
I'll come to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by the honourable member for Bunkurugu. Mr. Speaker, I think when we look at the whole concept of insecurity and then peace, basically attention is always focused more on negative peace, where there is direct violence, people are killed, and lives are lost, and properties are destroyed. But largely, when we look at where positive peace is involved, where there is no direct conflict, but abuses of human rights, kidnappings, and all what is happening in Bunkurugu happens, very little attention is paid to this kind of scenario. Mr. Speaker, it's very important, and as the Baker's statement has indicated, that a lot of measures need to be taken. And I think one of the best ways we can do this is to look at a multi-stakeholder approach. Not only the use of military and security agencies, but the involvement of community and the individuals within the community, civil society organizations, and largely civilians. Mr. Speaker, whether it is positive peace or negative peace, related violence, the implication is the same on food production from Bunkurugu, on social cohesion and the unity among families, on the whole concept of security and people's ability to move freely is hampered. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is very important, and this statement is timely, not just in Bunkurugu, it can happen in any part of the northern region. And I add my voice to the recommendations made by the Speaker. And I think when care and attention is paid to this kind of related incidents, we're going to have a better northern region, a better Bunkurugu. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity, and let me also celebrate my colleague for putting out such a very important statement. Speaker, the Nyankpanduri district has a documented history of chieftaincy disputes. It also has a documented history of communal violence and highway insecurity. Speaker, that is why I'm extremely excited that both the Minister of Interior and his deputy are here, because this is a matter that borders on security and interior management of this country. Speaker, let me just give you some history on the chieftaincy conflict and communal violence, and then you'll see how this is causing more problems. The Bimbangu Nanik dispute, Speaker, is the most significant security crisis of the year in 2025. It was centered on a long-standing chieftaincy feud between the Bimbangu and Nani communities over the elevation of just a sub-chief. Speaker, Nanik Dana to paramount chief status by the National House of Chiefs. Speaker, still the same Bimbangu community, which considers the Nanik chieftaincy subordinate to their own, strongly opposed the elevation of the Dana. And you should understand what it came with. Key incidents. On the 28th of February, there was a dawn attack. Armed assailants from Bimbangu faction launched a pre-dawn assault on the Nanik. 3 individuals were found burnt beyond recognition, Speaker. Then, 27-year-old teacher who had just requested for a transfer, and a native of Waliwali, also who was posted to a village 2 years prior to the incident. And Speaker, this is an eyewitness account. They noted that Majira had applied for transfer but was denied, and this was one of the persons who was burnt. Approximately 50 houses. 50 houses were razed down to the ground. Child remains were conveyed to the Bindi hospital. And Speaker, this attack represented an escalation of the violence that had been festering since January 2024. Speaker, 500 homes were displaced. When you come to the cascading consequences, in March 2025, 20 basic schools, Speaker, were closed in the Nanik Bimbangu community. 20. So children were not able to go to school. Speaker, the statement has to do with the security situation and the disappearances. So, unless respectfully, the Minister of Minister of Interior is saying that this has no correlation with the security situation. Speaker, health facilities, 2 CHIPS compounds were burnt in the same community. And then you also talk about displacement of about 1,500 people in the same community. Speaker, what is the way forward? The way forward is to look at how to collaborate efforts with the security agencies to stop this. Not to have politicians also being a part of chieftaincy issues. So that whether you are CPP or GCPP, you will not come and say that I support Chief A or B or C. Speaker, there should be a communal engagement, a stakeholder engagement, to explain to the people, ably led by the Minister of Interior and the Minister responsible for national security, on how to engage these people, and also to encourage highway patrols, Speaker, because that's one of the places that there is a lot of highway robbery. And if we are able to bring all of this to the fore, Speaker, the issues of people disappearing, people that cannot be found, they are human beings, they are visible, they are working, in the next moment they cannot be found. All of these things will be nipped in the bud. Speaker, with this, I want to thank you for giving me the platform. Thank you very much.
Yes, Minister responsible for Interior.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very much aware of the rules governing statements that are not supposed to attract debate and also largely deviate from the content of the statement. Mr. Speaker, I'm worried about the facts that have found itself in the statement. Well, Mr. Speaker, I can say on authority that my colleague, the MP for Nakwanduri, was met by the regional police commander, and he told him it is only 1 case that has been reported. But he still insisted and came and said 7 have been missing. Well, you see, police don't work in isolation. If something happens and you don't report to police, they will never be able to know. You don't expect them to be, with a greater respect, magicians or superhuman. So I'll be very grateful if my colleague will try to liaise with the police, because the most important thing for us as MP is to be able to deal with the challenges that are in your constituency. If you position yourself to be seen to be antagonistic towards the security people in your constituency, it find very difficult for you to cooperate with you or to tend to even give you information, because they then believe that they will give you information that you go and distort it. But that notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, On this particular instance, we went to court, got the court permission to go through the gentleman's call records. And unfortunately, for the 3 days before the incident, all the calls that he had is with their family members in his own home. So the investigation is still on, and I want to assure my colleague that we will continue to work hand in hand with the community and the family to be able to unravel this. But we'll also be interested if he has records of any other person apart from the recent one. Please, they should come forward with it so that it can assist the security people, the security agencies to deal with it decisively. So, Speaker, I must admit that the challenges in that area is enormous. All of us are aware of the incidents for the past 1.5 years, the challenge that we've been having in Boku and its environs. And Mr. Speaker, we do not have any extra police officers where you say that when something is happening, you just pull them like some countries will do. They call people that they call reserve. So it's the same police officers that we have. And at a point in time, we were all worried because we had to draw officers, even from northern region, to go and support that enclave. Mr. Speaker, when we had the opportunity to get these 50 armored vehicles, Mr. Speaker, majority of the armored cars are there. But, Mr. Speaker, the worrying thing is when the citizens are not willing to cooperate with the police to ensure peace in their area. For example, between 25th of December and today, the number of officers that have been shot and killed in that area is alarming. Just the day before yesterday, an officer was shot and killed. And it makes it very difficult when you want to send officers there. People even go and beg that they have to be transferred. I have instances where you sit in the office and officers resign that if you don't transfer me out of that area, then I'd rather resign and leave the service. Why? Because the citizens there themselves are not helpful. I'm happy that my colleague, Honorable Kabir from Wale was saying that we should encourage community policing. Community policing is started, it has to be started by the people themselves. You cannot go and impose it on them that we want to have police, what do you call it, community police here, and therefore we are appointing you and you and you. You are the community police. It's the citizens that come forward and say, look, we want to help you to keep the peace in our area, and we want you to facilitate that. Then you take them through training and show them what to do. In all this enclave, it's so difficult. They rather prefer to have their guns and their ammunition hidden in their homes and on their motorbikes and their vehicles to settle scores rather than trying to come forward to help maintain the peace in the area. To the extent that, Mr. Speaker, police officers that we put on the barrier, like checkpoints, people have courage to go openly and fire at them and kill them. Yes, in that area, to the extent that at the point that the IGP had to withdraw all police officers from checkpoints and had to insist that no, the answer is not to withdraw. We should rather be able to place them with armored vehicles. So when you create a situation where officers do not feel safe, and as MPs, we need to work with these security people so that we'll be able to create a nobler environment within that area so that the security people will be able to assist and help us. So I want to encourage my colleagues that, look, when the time comes and our own citizens, our own friends, our own family members, and constituents, somebody with a greater respect is posted to Nankwanduri. He comes to see the MP, say, I want to be transferred to Accra. And you see the MP putting pressure that, yes, transfer him. The rules are that you are supposed to spread even the little that you have thinly across the country. Now, everybody wants to be in the big city. Everyone is putting pressure. He wants the transfer. I want MPs to support us. When it comes and your own constituents come forward to tell you that they want to be transferred, encourage them to also stay where they are. Because if everybody moves to Kumasi, Accra, Takoradi, Sunyani, and the big cities, who will be there to provide security for the vulnerable ones in those disadvantaged communities? So I want to encourage my colleagues from that area to help by establishing this community policing. And I can assure you, we have a whole directorate at the police headquarters that deals with community policing. And will be swift in time to come in to assist.
that assurance will give. I want the MP to try and keep the collaboration with the regional police commander so that this one that has been reported will be dealt with. And those that have not been reported, if the facts are there, please report them and we can assure you that we'll work at them. It's just too unfortunate that if any citizen has to lose his life or has to be kidnapped or has to go missing and we are not able to find that person swiftly. But I can assure you that, Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues that we'll work very hard with our own colleagues, MPs, to be able to unravel most of these difficult situations that we find ourselves. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleague for trying to draw the attention of the country, and in particular, those of us who have the privilege to work within the security environment, some of the challenges that are in this constituency. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I hope Honorable Jerry Ahmed has taken the leadership then. But, however, I will give you the floor. Be brief.
I'll be brief. I listened to the minister carefully, and in the morning when I came, I ran into the member, the colleague who made a statement. Fact be told, he was extremely worried. He was extremely worried. And I am a bit taken aback at certain differences in terms of the facts that are being put out. The minister is speaking to some facts, and the member is also speaking to some other facts, which is not encouraging. I will want to, just as the minister is urging the member to speak to the police command, I also want to respectfully urge the minister to relate to his colleague. We are all colleagues here, and I'm not sure the member, I'm just concluding on this matter. I'm not sure the member will want to allege any wild information or put out what is not right. So I'm basically saying that let's have more engagement on this matter. And more often than not, across the country, such conflict that escalates, it starts small. And when it's not nip in the bud, then it gets out of hand. So I want to plead with the minister and appeal to him. I know the member quite well. Let's see how we can work closely, not just him, constituencies that are nearby. Because the member says more than 10 people are missing, and the minister says it's only one that has been reported, that takes something away from the narrative. And I think that we can do better in terms of exchanges between
the statement is clear.
I think that we can do better.
The member said 7.
Fine. Speaker, even
am I correct? And then 7 people being missing and 1 being reported to the police. I do not think there are differences. The question is whether or not the rest of the 6 have been reported.
Speaker,
if
with respect,
not, that's why the minister is urging that they should report the rest to enable the police investigate.
Speaker, I'm saying that. I'm basically saying that beyond reporting it, reality is granted that the thing happened and it was not reported, yet lives have been lost. It's a matter that calls for an investigation. So I appreciate the fact that the minister is saying it should be reported. But can we go beyond the reportage or the matter being, taken to the police, the security agencies to be investigated? Then I want to see more exchanges between the minister and the member and other members of parliament who are in the vicinity. That for me is the way out of this. These are my views.
Thank you very much. Leadership, do we lay the paper on the other paper addendum and then we come back to the statement? Majority Leader.
Speaker, will take other paper addendum 2. Items numbers 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5 in that sequence, Mr. Speaker. The other paper addendum, the reports of the committee for... Yes.
Honorable member, let's lay the item numbered 1, A and B.
Very well.
Then we'll ask that the report be distributed. And we'll come back to statement after the distribution of the report. Then we can come back to motions.
Very well. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, minority.
Speaker, there's no issue. He can proceed.
Very well. Honourable members, at commencement of public business, presentation of papers. Item numbered 1A on the order paper, addendum 2. Chairman of the committee, please. Being the chairman of the committee, I will grant.
He should make the application.
Yes.
He should make the application.
I'm making the application because I'm the chairman of the committee. I chaired the committee.
I'm not contesting that you are.
I will want the majority leader to lay the paper.
The majority leader is engaged.
That is a committee of the whole. This is a report of committee of the whole.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, when I have a very competent chief whip, I can afford to sleep in the chamber.
Yes, but I'm giving you the opportunity to lay this paper on my behalf.
Report of the Committee of the Whole on the proposed formula for disbursement of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, GMTF, for 2026.
All members, report has been duly presented and it is for the distribution to members of the House. Item numbered 1B on the order paper, addendum 2. Majority Leader.
Report of the Committee of the Whole on the proposed formula for disbursement of the National Health Insurance Fund for 2026.
Honourable members, the report per the item numbered 1B on the order paper, addendum 2 has been duly presented and it is for distribution. Yes, honourable members, let's come back to the second statement, standing in the name of Comfort, Honourable Comfort Doyo, Member of Parliament for Adan, to make a statement on domestic violence. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Today, I stand before this House with a heavy heart to address the pressing issues of domestic violence in our society. Mr. Speaker, we have constantly been speaking and addressing the issues of domestic violence in our society. Last year, we discussed the issues of Madam Harriet Amuzu, a mother of 2 who was assaulted by her husband in a viral video. Just recently, there was another case of domestic violence where a young man was seen brutalizing his girlfriend in a viral video on social media. Mr. Speaker, this is absurd. This act of constant violation on women is very unacceptable. This does not just apply to women, but children and men can also be victims. There have been equally trending videos of children being assaulted by their guidance. No woman, no man, and certainly no child should ever have to go through such cruelty within a space that is supposed to offer love. safety, and protection. Mr. Speaker, the marks, bruises, and deep wounds on these victims speak to several levels of cruelty they suffer. No one deserves to be treated in such an inhuman manner. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It is a crime, and it must be treated as such. Mr. Speaker, the incidents must serve as a wake-up call. These incidents must serve as a wake-up call. We should not allow this situation to continue. Institutions that are meant to protect citizens are not to sit back and turn a blind eye on the rising cases of domestic violence. Action must be taken not only to ensure justice for these victims, but also to strengthen our system by educating more on domestic violence. Mr. Speaker, I would like to encourage every individual to speak up when they are in such situations and to always report to the rightful institutions. The silence will only allow this violence to continue. Know your rights and do not allow anyone to violate them. Mr. Speaker, every Ghanaian deserves protection, respect, and justice. Do not allow fear, shame, or pressure to prevent you from reporting such incidents to the institutions mandated to address these matters. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to call on all media personnel, the Ghana Police Service, relevant ministries, and all institutions responsible for protecting citizens to intensify their efforts in the fight against domestic violence. Continual awareness, swift intervention, and strong enforcement of the law are important in protecting victims. Mr. Speaker, together we must create a society where abuse is condemned, victims are supported, and justice is rightfully served. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honourable members, that is the statement ably delivered. It is now for your comment. I recognize Honourable Zaneto.
Yes. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement made by the Second Deputy Whip on domestic violence. Mr. Speaker, I think that this is perhaps a very opportune time to reiterate the call for Ghana to be a signatory to and ratify the AU Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls. It actually is a very comprehensive legal framework that is in place to actually eliminate and prevent these acts of violence, not just in a conflict scenario, but also domestically as well. And so I would like to add my voice to support the maker of the statement about the need to actually eliminate this scourge on our society, because violence against women is not just a gender issue, it's a societal issue. And to a large extent, it appears as though it's been normalized. And we need to reconscientize our populace to the fact that it's not normal. And I think one of the ways to do that is to ensure that we have in place the necessary legal framework to put in place safeguards for women and children specifically, but for others in general within a domestic setting. And so I would like to reiterate the call that Ghana does ratify and domesticate the AU Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Children. Thank you. Women and girls.
Yes, Honorable Minister for Education. Honorable Member, I will come to you.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement on the matter of domestic violence by the Honorable Comfort Doyo. And Mr. Speaker, to indicate that it's important that in Ghana we focus more on statistics on domestic violence. You may want to categorize it as physical abuse, threatening behavior, sexual abuse, emotional or psychological abuse, and even more importantly, economic abuse. In some cultures, men are supposed to provide for their homes. So even when you leave the house without providing chop money for the woman and for the children, that will constitute economic abuse and extended even to psychological abuse of the woman. But Mr. Speaker, we also must move away from the notion that domestic abuse is peculiarly women. Because, Mr. Speaker, there are men who are beaten at home by their spouses. But again, a cultural barrier. The man is shy to go and report to the police that he has been beaten by the wife. He doesn't even want his own parents to know that he's been beaten by his wife. So we need to focus more on the statistics in order to understand the incidence of domestic violence and what promotes it in Ghana. But if we focus more on domestic violence as if the notion is that it's only women who are abused, that is wrong, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the maker of the statement and even add that in our educational institutions, we have seen clear cases of abuse, of teachers abusing learners and learners abusing learners, and even members of a community within the school environment also abusing teachers and abusing learners. But I want to commend her, and then also to just recognize that we need to respect rights. Once we have tolerance for respect of those fundamental human rights, we can have an improved regime. But I don't want to believe in the notion that domestic violence is peculiarly a case of women being abused. And then the men in Ghana must learn to take responsibility, particularly in the rural area. I mean, in my culture, it was abominable for a man to go and tell his father or his mother that he has been beaten by his wife. It was abominable in my culture. You couldn't dare go and report that you have been beaten by a woman. You will be seen as a very impotent person of a man. So, Mr. Speaker, I commend her for the statement. Thank you.
Yes. Honourable Member, were you on your feet to contribute? Were you on your feet to contribute? Yes. Honourable Minister for Tourism, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the Deputy Whip for this timely statement on ending domestic violence and drawing attention to it for us to consider ways in which we can protect both genders. It is true that some women are alleged to be beating their husbands, but the frequency of this violence against women, I think, is on the higher side. And it is the reason why perhaps it has taken on this gender or female cloak. But, Mr. Speaker, I also want to commend Honorable Zanato for the call for the legislation to be looked at, the ratification, I beg your pardon, the ratification of the convention to be looked at. It probably will not be the panacea to the problem, but it will be a good step in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, domestic violence, when it happens to children, can leave scars that remain forever. And for some, it makes them timid. It makes people shy from speaking in public. It deters people from achieving their dreams because of that childhood trauma. I'm not sure if we have professionals who are dealing with the trauma that childhood abuse leaves in children. And when they grow up and they have not been able to deal with that trauma from childhood, they also perpetuate that action, they pass it on. So it becomes a generational problem. You would find, Mr. Speaker, that often in some communities where this is predominant and it's seen as if it is the norm and it's okay, it's cloaked in what we call culture. But culture is not static. So even if that was the case, that when you were growing up, women sat at home and did nothing, and I put this nothing in quotes. Theirs is to wash the bowls, cook the food, clean the house, feed the children, bathe them, and all kinds of things, care for the sick and all of that. Even if that was what you were raised to think as culture, and which may include beating a woman or a child, in today's world, that is not acceptable anymore. Culture cannot remain static, so you get away with the excuse of that's how it is done in your community. If women are presidents in other countries, vice president in the Republic of Ghana, we have a fine example in Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, then you have no excuse continuously torturing women in the name of it is your culture. Only either yesterday or the day before, I watched on television the fact that even the female genital mutilation is still ongoing. And now that the trend is to take them across the country to go and have the mutilation done. Mr. Speaker, it's important that perhaps the Gender Committee on which I am take this up seriously and ensure that during this sitting we are able to have the convention ratified and also advocate for stiffer punishments for those who defile children, those who traumatize and beat children, those who abuse them mercilessly. We've seen these things on social media, and you wonder who are these persons who are traumatizing another human being. Perhaps giving stiffer punishments would be more of a deterrent than just having the laws on our statute books. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all contributors to this statement and to urge that we all put our shoulders to the wheel and ensure that in our families, in our communities, in our regions, in our country, this sees the end this year, that we should not tolerate abuse of anybody's rights or physical well-being be challenged. And that said, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I give the floor to the Honorable Member, Honorable Felicia Ajay. You have the floor.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Doyo for making this statement. Mr. Speaker, domestic violence destroys families. It weakens our society. A home should be a place of safety, love, care. It's not about a man who go out, come back home. I give my wife 20 cedis to prepare food. Because my wife didn't prepare the food, I have to beat my wife, or I have to do so many things. Mr. Speaker, for the past 3 years, you've seen so many things on social media. There's this man that killed his wife, all because the wife refused to have sex with the husband. Mr. Speaker, not even that alone. We can go on and on and on. Mr. Speaker, let me go to paragraph 3 of the maker of the statement. He says that, let me quote, "This is not a horrifying story, a horrifying incident. It's not just a tragic story of a woman. It is a painful reminder of a silent suffering." Mr. Speaker, I hope
that the DOSO and the Ghana police, they will take this and then work according to the way it's supposed to be. Because something happened in my constituency 2 weeks ago. A 5-year-old, a 5-year-old was suffering. We didn't know what was wrong with the 5-year-old. We took the child to hospital. Before we realized, not knowing the father has been sleeping with the 5-year-old. The father died because he had to kill himself. Mr. Speaker, I strongly support the maker of the statement, and I hope and pray that this August House we will take domestic violence serious, and if you have any member of parliament who is abusing their wife home too, we will check it and take it up. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Felicia J., what of if you have a member of parliament who is abusing the husband?
Mr. Speaker, I'm guided and I need your protection. Mr. Speaker, we have some men that before they request anything from their wife, that is beating. They beat them, yes. They ask, if you don't give it to them, Mr. Speaker, they will beat you.
Honorable Felicia J., you are duly protected. Honorable members, how many more do we take? I think we should take one more and draw the curtains down. I'll give the floor to Honorable Fifi Bachman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have to stand against domestic violence. It is very gory looking at the statistics in Ghana. It is an abuse of human rights. It is not just, domestic violence. Many people who engage in this do not see the other person as a human being. They just maltreat people. They just do whatever they want to do against another human being. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution of Ghana protects every life, protects the dignity of every human being, irrespective of your status, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of whatever the religious affiliation. Mr. Speaker, it is something that we don't just have to make statements and let it slide. We have to take serious action against it. Because, Mr. Speaker, the victims of domestic violence suffer perpetual psychological trauma. The victims, especially children, they suffer, and their confidence level is brought down. Mr. Speaker, we need to do something about it. We have myriad of laws that talks against, abuse of human rights. We have myriad of laws that speaks and frowns on abusing people's rights. But, Mr. Speaker, the most, appalling aspect of it is that you go to the police station, you go to the authorities and report, and it is the community leaders who will rise, who will say that as you have taken your father to the court, as you've taken your father to the police, who is going to take care of you? Women are not able to speak out. Children are not able to speak out. Some even die, Mr. Speaker, some even die out of, this distress that they go through. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to rise as a nation. We need to fortify the Department of Social Welfare, so that this department would be able to stand up for the work it is supposed to do. We need to educate ourselves that violence against human being in any form is wrong.
Violence against human being in any form is intolerable. Violence against any person at anywhere is not acceptable in our nation. So, Mr. Speaker, I support the call. I support the statement. But, Mr. Speaker, I would call upon all of us to see our fellow human beings, whether a woman or a man, a child, as a human being who has the right to live, a human being who has the right of dignity of living. Many, if you go to schools, you go to offices, you go to homes, various places, rights of people are abused day in and day out, and they are not able to speak. They can speak out. Mr. Speaker, let's give them the opportunity to speak out. As I was sitting there, I was thinking about, where an opportunity can be created for people to report to a higher authority. Because sometimes they go to this Dovsu and they are told that this little beatings that your husband beat you, you are coming to report. We have to do something about it. I'm speaking as a lawyer and I know about this. Mr. Speaker, we need to do something about it, but not just mere statements. We need to act, and the time to act is now. Say no to domestic violence. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, yes, Honourable Chair Samuel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And let me also thank the maker of the statement, Honorable Doyo, regarding domestic violence. Mr. Speaker, many a times when we talk about domestic violence, we tend to focus on the physical aspect or the sexual aspect. But studies have shown that the largest percentage of domestic violence is more emotional. And this emotional violence is what tend to affect kids, and they take it to their workplace or they take it to their schools. So, Mr. Speaker, I know the Honorable Minister for Education made a statement and commented on this statement. I would want to suggest that if we want to bring down domestic violence, the education has to start right from the primary schools. Because it's the kids that grow out to be adults and become violent to one another. So if this education can be instituted at the primary level, as one grows, we tend to change from it. Because emotional violence is leading to a lot of developmental issues in our country, especially in our part of the world. Because our culture and the way we have also incorporated the European or the Western culture is not agreeing that much. So if we can find a better approach of making sure that saying no to domestic violence happens within our institutions, then of course we can take it to our workplace and our homes. Because if a child is abused at an early age, this child is likely to also commit same when they grow up. But if we are trained to be tolerant to one another, if we are trained to appreciate the differences between each person, one could be short, one could be tall. When one is angry, one could calm down. It can bring about peace. So this has to be something that we as a country have to start working on this from the childhood. And I believe if we're able to do that, within the next few years, we can look at our data and realize that, yeah, it's gone down. So with these few years, we want to appreciate the maker of the statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, I want to contribute to this statement. Speaker, I have a personal experience I'm dealing with, and it has to do with domestic violence. Speaker, a lady that I know who is about 23 years in the University of Ghana suffered the first abuse through another woman when she was around 16 years. And Speaker, that was how the lady tried to lure her into believing that she's the most beautiful lady and started having some intimate relationship with her. Speaker, to the extent of wooing her to also start smoking weed. And Speaker, as I speak with you, this lady is still smoking weed as a result of that relationship. Speaker, she is in a university. And I even had to get somebody from Parliament. In fact, one of the ladies who work as working with the rehabilitation center to also refer her to Asylum Down. And Speaker, when you see this lady, very beautiful, smart lady, she is unable to do anything on her own without taking any substance. As she is in the house, just because this first time she's not been able to get a room in the hostel, the University of Ghana hostel. Wherever she's staying with her uncle. So the worst part is that the uncle is a pastor who has also been finding ways of abusing this lady. Speaker, so the abuse does not only come from a man to a woman. It comes from a woman to a woman or a man to a man. It could be emotional, like we have said, it could be physical, it could be psychological, it could be economic. Speaker, but the trauma that it comes with, when care is not taken, it becomes something very serious. Speaker, let me speak to even some statistics here in Ghana. Speaker, about 40% of women aged 15 to 49 have experienced domestic violence. And Speaker, this domestic violence normally will not just come from a man beating a woman. It comes from a man even denying the woman whatever she's expected to have intimately, including sex. Speaker, when you also come down, you will see that about 20% of men have also suffered same abuse. And it also comes from also the issue of sex. And some men beating by women. I know some of them. And they have given me signals not to mention their names. But Speaker, I know them. And sometimes they wear smocks so that their body sizes are not seen. But we know. But Roxy, why are you looking at me? I'm not referring to you. I mean, no. Speaker, if you go beyond that, if you go to Sola Tuna Kaba, this is a statistics that is there. It's really startling. It says 61.9% of women have experienced the worst form of domestic violence. So my prayer is that whoever is there as the member of parliament will be looking at 16,000 plus have reported cases annually of domestic violence, and this actually includes the men and the women. Speaker, what can we do to stop, if not, at least if we are unable to stop it, how can we even reduce the volume of domestic violence? Speaker, I think that there are three major issues that are confronting us. One is fear. People for fear that their husbands may even punish them more. Speaker, people for fear that their husbands and wives will punish them more are unable to report. Speaker, also for the fact that they know that it will become a stigma. They are unable to report sin. Because the moment they report, whenever they are passing, they say, oh, Akando's guy, to which that is Akando's wife. Speaker, these and many more are the reasons why we should educate people on the trauma domestic violence causes on people. We should educate them to the extent that they should know that reporting will not bring a stigma to you, but it will bring a resolution of the problem. That whoever causes this problem must be dealt with. Speaker, I see the Chief Whip trying to give me pressure to run up. I would use this opportunity to run up and to say thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, Majority
Speaker, we yield the slot to the Honorable Member for Dafioma. Oh. Yes. Dafioma is Sandari.
Yes, Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank leadership for yielding to me to conclude on this debate. Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by Honorable Comfort Doyo Kujo on domestic violence. Mr. Speaker, in the year 1984, the United Nations adopted the UN Convention Against Torture, other forms of violence and punishment. And interestingly, in the year 1998, before Ghana could even ratify this particular convention, the Ghana Police Service, being very proactive, established what we called then the Women and Juvenile Unit, which was to deal with women and juvenile matters, and we used to call it WAJU for short. On the 7th of September, the year 2000, Ghana ratified the UN Convention Against Torture. And 4 years later, that is in 2005, WAJU was rebranded and reinforced, revitalized into a new unit we call Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, simply put, DOVSU. Mr. Speaker, this addresses all forms of victims involving domestic violence, and it was in fact gender neutral. And from 2005 to today, 21 years down the line, if the leader is making a statement on domestic violence in this chamber, it tells us that we are becoming more conscious of what is happening in society. And because of the power of social media, any little thing that happens in any part of this country, in the next moment, we are quite aware. The power of social media is making it very possible for us to even have a better data to appreciate what is happening in the field of domestic violence. And this statement could not have made at any better time than now. And the fact that she's even a woman makes it more intriguing. These days, you hardly find women clapping their hands and insulting their husbands in public. These days, you hardly find men beating their wives and dragging them in public. That is not to say that we are out of the woods yet. There is a lot we can still do, but Ghana has really gone far since 1998. I want to take the opportunity to thank the Honorable Leader for making such a powerful statement. And I pray that we'll continue to do better and make Ghana a very hospitable place for domestic issues. Mr. Speaker, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yes, Majority Chief Whip. We have come to the end of this statement.
Speaker, we want to take the motions on the motion number 2 and 3 on the order paper, addendum 2. Speaker.
Honorable,
we'll take both.
Yeah. Honorable Minority Chief Whip, may I apply that the Majority Chief Whip will move this motion instead of the chairman of the committee? Yes.
No, you want to do.
Speaker, we are aligned. Yeah.
So, Majority Chief Whip, you may now move the motion numbered 2.
Speaker, I rise to move that, notwithstanding the provision of Standing Order 1041, which require that motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given. The motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole on the proposed formula for disbursement of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund for 2026 may be moved today. Mr. Speaker, so move.
Honourable members, motion move and seconder.
Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Honourable members, motion move and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. This being a procedural motion, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We now move to the consequential motion numbered 3. And I will equally call on the Majority Chief Whip to move the motion.
Speaker, I rise to move that this Honorable House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole on the proposed formula for disbursement of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund for 2026. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honourable members, motion move. Any seconder?
Speaker, I'm not sure about the procedure,
Yes,
but I thought once it's moved, it should present the
yes,
report.
in doing so, present the committee's report.
He has given the power of attorney.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I seek your leave, being the chairman of the committee, to do this on your behalf. Speaker, in moving the motion, I would present the committee's report. Speaker, the committee considered the formula proposed for the disbursement of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund for 2026. Some outstanding issues were raised, including revenue projections and sources for the 2026 calendar year. So, Speaker, a total amount of 2.9 billion has been set aside for disbursement in 2026 from its mandated sources, investment activities, and grants and donations. Speaker, the projected revenues are derived primarily from the statutory allocation of 20% of the National Health Insurance Fund. These investments from existing investments, projected investment income, and anticipated grants. Mr. Speaker, may I urge the Hansa Department to capture the entirety of the reports as though same as be presented in extenso. Speaker, may I conclude by saying that the committee observed that health infrastructure and diagnostic equipment financing be also considered human resources planning and compensation. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I urge the House to adopt the report so that the fund, as stated, supra be disbursed for the activities of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund for 2026. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, motion move and report presented. Any seconder? Yes.
I second the motion, please.
So, is there any contribution? Is there any contribution? Is there any contribution from you? Honorable Chairman of the Health Committee, you second the motion. If you have any contribution, please do so.
I second the motion, and in seconding, I want to say that the Ghana Medical Trust Fund is the best thing that probably have happened in Ghana for the year 2025. And for the first time, we are tackling the chronic disease. We are going to provide specialist care. And Ghanaians are going to really feel the medical care for those who hitherto could not afford specialist care. And I must say that there was a little bit of talk about equipment, etc. And I have to say that Ghana is not Accra. We have got regional hospitals and
Honorable Chairman, in conclusion,
and others, yes, who do not have the equipment. Yes. Who do not have the equipment. In conclusion, I want to say that the Ghana Medical Trust Fund has come to fill a gap in the healthcare sector, and we must say thank you to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, for resetting the medical field. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chairman of the committee. Yes. Honorable Omar, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to comment on the report laid by your committee. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, it's a new fund, and this is the first time as a house we are considering approving a formula for it. Mr. Speaker, last year when the fund was created, or the body was created to administer it, some financial commitments were made. And from the report, close to about 700 million was received for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, the concern has to do with, by close of year, how many beneficiaries we can clearly see have benefited from the establishment of the fund. And more importantly, the resource allocation that we are looking at for 2026, where exactly we are putting our eggs in this regard. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the committee's report, under item 9.2, talking about human resource planning and compensation control, it states that the committee expressed concern about the level of expenditure on staff compensation in relation to the fund's current and projected staffing level. This, for me, is very instructive because we're creating this medical trust fund with a sole aim of promoting and curing the ailments of our people. But where the fund now is using substantial amount of money to cater for staff compensation as well as other matters of expenditure which doesn't relate to the core business of the fund, then it causes for this house to be worried. I am of the respectful opinion, Mr. Speaker, that management of the fund should be much more guided in ensuring that the focus of this particular fund is relied upon, it is looked at closely, rather than putting much emphasis on compensation. Mr. Speaker, subsequent issues around building of infrastructure.
So, Honorable Omar, if compensation is not paid to the workers of the trust, how do they get their salary?
Mr. Speaker, of course, once we establish the trust, we indicated that there would be recruitment of staff. And everybody knows that staff will be paid compensation. But I'm referencing the committee's report that expressed concern about the extent of expenditure on staff compensation, both now and the projected future. And I think this is where my comment is being relied upon. Speaker, you can look at 9.2 of the committee's report. And so it's only for us to be guided and be mindful. And there's an advice I'm giving to the fund, that we focus on the majors and limit the minors, so that at the end of the day, the sole objective of this fund will be achieved. Speaker, I was just concluding with respect to expenditures around infrastructure development, amongst others. I know that as a new entity, there would always be the need for them to also pay for buildings and equipment. But we are also supposed to check how much it is costing the taxpayer in terms of these expenses and the buildings and the equipment that will be procured. I am appealing to the management of the fund that they should be very careful and be guided by efficiency in terms of the management of this particular resource, so that at the end of the day, majority of Ghanaians will benefit. Without more, Mr. Speaker, I want to call on this House to support this particular report. I so thank you.
Yes, leadership. Very well. Honourable members, it is clear. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion number 3 at page 2 of the order paper addendum 2 say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it and the motion is adopted. Honourable members, this House accordingly approve the sum of 2,900,730,000 for the year ending 31st December 2026 in line with the distribution formula approved by the House to enable the National Health Insurance Authority, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund to effectively discharge their respective mandates. Honourable members, motion number 4 at page 2 of the addendum.
Speaker, I rise to move that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 104-1, which require that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given. The motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole on the proposed formula for the disbursement of the National Health Insurance Fund for 2026 may be moved today, Mr. Speaker. Well, thank you.
Members, procedural motion moved. Any seconder?
Oh, okay, do it.
I rise to support the motion.
You second the motion. Yes. Honourable Chairman, thank you for seconding the motion. Honourable members, motion moved and seconded.
Seconded.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, this is a procedural motion. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Now the consequential motion, numbered 5 at page 2.
Speaker, I rise to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole and the proposed formula for the disbursement of the National Health Insurance Fund for 2026. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
In doing so, present the committee's report.
Mr. Speaker, your committee duly considered the formula as proposed by the National Health Insurance Authority. Mr. Speaker, issues raised by members included the details regarding the expenditures projected for 2026. Justifications were given. The fund expects to, the authority expects to obtain funds from levies and then premium on informal investment, processing fees of some services that they render, income on investment, donor funding, and other sources of income. Speaker, the projected expenditure lines include NHI operational expenses, support to district offices, support to Ministry of Health, district health projects, and others. Speaker, may I urge the Hansa Department to capture the entirety of the report as though it was presented in extenso. Speaker, the committee concluded that an amount of 9,261,010,000 Ghana cedis be approved for disbursement for the activities ending 31st December 2026 for the National Health Insurance Authority. Mr. Speaker, I so submit. I thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, motion move, report ably presented. Any seconder?
Hey,
Yes, Chairman of the Health Committee.
I second the motion. And in doing so, I want you to take note that the claims I want you to take note of the following, that the claims, the amount that is allocated for claims has increased. And we have got about 3.6 billion, now moving to 5.06 billion. And that is an increase that incorporates the primary health care. So this year we are going to roll out the primary health care, and that amount is incorporated in this claim. We also have an allocation of about 9.9 million to the Ministry of Health to carry out its activities. I know under the Ministry of Health, we have the HIV/AIDS program, we have the malaria program, the TB program, and all other, the vaccine. We are now moving towards self-sufficiency in the provision of vaccines, and all that is provided in the formula. Indeed, the total amount allocated is 9.27 billion Ghana cedis, and I hope that this year things will be better than last year, and we also hope that we will be able to carry out all infrastructure programs that we have budgeted for. Thank you.
Honourable members, motion move, report presented, motion seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I rise to speak in support of the motion for the adoption of the report related to the NHIF formula. Speaker, let me begin by acknowledging the Minister's intervention on a number of popular calls, both from leadership and members of Parliament, which the Minister responded positively. I don't need to elucidate on this. I'm commending you. You did well.
Share the rights.
Himself and the Chief Executive did very well by responding to calls from members. So did they well? Speaker, at the Committee of the Whole, a number of concerns were brought up, and I hope the Minister paid attention to it. By the way, Speaker, if you look at page 8, item 10.0, we need to make some correction to that page. The committee, Speaker, with your leave, the committee, having carefully examined the proposed formula for the disbursement of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. It shouldn't be Ghana Medical Trust Fund. It should be the NHIF. Yes, so if we could correct that. We've already taken the report on the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. Yes. Speaker, page 4, where it talks about 2025 performance. It's just half a page. 2025 performance, and it's half a page. And this is Parliament of Ghana. It cannot be. Just half a page. It's scanty, it's totally unacceptable. Are you telling me all the funding that was given to you for 2025, this is all you can talk about when it comes to performance? This is not how we report on previous performance. I don't think it's impressive.
They haven't done anything.
I am speaking in support of the adoption of the report. But I think next time, the committee leadership, Chairman, you are here, we can do better in terms of performance report. I see also on page 8, this is repeated. Last year, it was the same thing. Corporate social responsibility. It's just a line. It's just a line. But I know you've done a number of projects regarding corporate social responsibilities. At least you could flesh it up a bit for us to appreciate what the fund is doing. I am aware of an intervention in my constituency. I'm not saying you should list everything, but at least you can't just say corporate social responsibility and put there a figure. That is not enough. So, Chairman, you may have to take a look at it. I can't zero in on just you. Yourself and the committee leadership should do better next time. This is not acceptable to Parliament. Speaker, donor fund, and then the counterpart funding. We can also report better on it. The World Bank is supporting us, UNICEF is supporting us. We should be fleshing how the fund has supported, funding from the UNICEF and the World Bank, how it has supported the NHIF. We have to speak to it. We can't just quote figure and say this amount came from World Bank, this amount came from the UNICEF, and it ends there. I think we can do better. Minister, take very good notice. And lastly, I drew your attention on the IT architecture, which you had personified a fight for an investigation when you were in your other world, when you were a ranking member. You were all over the country. You were all over the country. In fact, I admired you for that.
So what have you
suddenly you have forgotten about it. I see scanty statement saying that you are going to review. Yes, you review, but what happened to the previous call where you said that there should be audits, proper audits of how the fund was used in terms of IT facility? Minister, you know you are my friend. Let's do things properly. Speaker, having said this, I support the adoption of the report, but I particularly want to appeal to the minister that they should pay attention to these observations we've made going into the future. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Majority Leadership. All members, I'll put a question. The question is, yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, my attention has been drawn to some clerical error. So, regarding the figure, Speaker, in presenting my report, I indicated that the total amount available was 261 million. 261 million and 10,000 Ghana cedis. But the accurate figure is actually 9,270 million and 60,000 Ghana cedis, Mr. Speaker. So one table office to, yes, so this is the small amendment that in respect of the total sum available to be dispersed. Thank you very much.
All members, take note of the correct figure that should be in the report. So, all members, I will then put a question. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted, and that this honourable House approve the sum of 9,270,060,000 Ghana cedis and 6 pesos. Very well. For the year ending 31st December 2026, in line with the distribution formula approved by this honorable House for the Ghana National Health Insurance Authority. Yes, Majority Leader. Any indication?
Speaker.
Are we going back to statements?
Speaker, it's 10 minutes to 8 p.m. We have done more than 5 hours. So, Mr. Speaker, we are in your hands, child.
Honourable members, it is indeed true that we've done more than 5 hours. Therefore, Order 56(2) would apply. Accordingly, I proceed to adjourn the House till Wednesday, 11th day of February 2026 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Majority Leader, is it 2 o'clock?
Speaker, indeed it is 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
Yes. Thank you very much for your support for today.